All right, welcome everybody. Good morning, good morning. We're gonna go through some yoga flow at a little bit of a slower pace today. Just getting a nice full body workout. You don't need any specific props, but if you do have blocks, if you want to use those, I always like to keep blocks handy just in case I might need them, because you never really know until you get started sometimes. So grab those if you've got them. If you've got a bolster, if you want that, you can grab that, and we are gonna get going. So feel free to prop up your hips if you like. And if you want, you can always bring something underneath the knees. So any seated position that works for you, even lying down right now if you need and you like, that's totally fine. And we're just going to come into this moment, settling in on the mat. And so if you are wanting to turn inwards a little bit, then you can turn your palms down to yourself, thinking of connecting to the self. And if you are feeling like you're in a place that you need to reach out to other people, right? We're doing that virtually today. So if you're in a place where you feel like you need to connect, then you can turn your palms up. Palms up for receiving and connecting outwards. And palms down just for going inwards and connecting to the self. Or you can always rest a hand on the heart or a hand on the belly. Hands on your head maybe. Yeah, just resting the hands wherever it works for you as you start to scan and see where you are this morning. And we'll be continuing to scan ourselves throughout our practice. And then again at the end, always checking in with the present, with what is happening, what's changing, what do I need to do to best support myself in this moment. So we're going to start our practice today with an Om, and I invite you to join in with me. We're not in a big room with, 5 people or 20 people or 100 people. So, maybe you're home alone, maybe you're here, with other people of your family. So you might choose to invite them to join you. Otherwise, you're welcome just to listen to the sound. And if you don't want to audibly do that Om, then you can do it silently in your mind. So Om is just a way of chanting and connecting to this high vibrational energy. We'll bring our hands to heart center. Take a nice full deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. We'll do that one more time, inhaling. Exhale audibly out through the mouth. Relax the jaw, maybe close your eyes, and we'll inhale to Om. Take one more breath here. And then we'll slowly start to shift out of whatever position we're in, and we're going to come right into our tabletop pose. Moving any props aside if you've got those. Stacking the hands right underneath the shoulders, spread the fingertips wide or go up onto your fists if that's better for you, but make sure the thumbs are pointing forward, not in towards the midline. Hips are right over top of the knees, and we're just going to start by circling here. So we're going to shift the weight back, lean to one side, shift forward and around. Shift back, forward and around. So you might feel this in the wrist, that, it's a little bit challenging for the wrist perhaps. This is a nice way to build some strength into the wrists, and as we're going through our vinyasa flows today, we're definitely going to need some wrist strength. Let's go for 2 more in this direction. And of course, you're just taking that circle as big as it feels right for you. You can go much smaller if you like. Okay, and then go ahead and reverse. Inhaling forward, exhale, shift it back. Inhale forward, exhale back. So vinyasa is a flow of matching movement with breath, right? So as we're shifting with our movement, we're allowing our breath to be the base of that. And we're going to be doing our vinyasa a little bit slower today. So oftentimes in vinyasa, it'll just be 1 breath per movement. We're going to go a little bit slower today, but of course, listen to your body. If you want to speed it up, you're more than welcome to. Let's go for 1 more here. Good. And then we'll shift right back into whatever version of child's pose feels best for you. So knees can be as wide or as close as you like. Hands can reach forward or back. And go ahead and rest your forehead down to the mat. If it's not possible to get your head down onto the mat, you can always bring those elbows closer towards you, stack the fists, and rest the head onto stacked fists or stacked palms. With each shape we make with the body, each asana, we have the ability to check into what is the best version of this pose for me today. And really exploring the idea of finding your edge in yoga, meaning the place where you are working, the place where there's a little bit of a challenge, right? We're not just kind of sinking back into something that's going to be, no effort. There is some effort happening, some activeness, but we're not in a place where we don't feel like we can hold that. And so the way that we can check in with whether it's the suitable amount of an edge is with the breath, right? So is your breath really sporadic? Are you really out of breath? That can be a cue to slow down a little bit. Take your time, ground down. And then if you find that the mind is really wandering, then that can be an opportunity to go a little bit deeper. Check in with your body. What can you focus on? What are your feet doing? What are your hips doing? Right? So here in our child's pose, keep sinking those hips back towards the heels. Relax the neck and the shoulders. And then the next time you're ready to exhale, we'll go ahead and bring our hands off the mat over towards the left. Option to stack that right palm over the left if you like. Elbows can be relaxed down or the arms might be more active. It's okay if your head can't touch down. Spread those fingertips wide. Keep drawing that right hip point back. And then coming back through center and over towards the right. It might be different on this side. See how you need to vary it. Keep drawing that left hip point back, sinking the hips towards the heels. Maybe stack your left palm over the right. One more full deep breath here. Good, and then we'll slowly come on back through center. Walk the hands back underneath the shoulders. Bring those knees close together if they're not. Your choice to sit back onto your heels. Otherwise, if that's not comfortable or possible for you, then you can bring yourself up to high kneeling. We'll exhale to interlace the hands behind the back, roll those shoulders down and back, drop the chin slightly so that the roof of the mouth is parallel to the floor, feeling that openness across the upper body. Keep working to get the heel of the hands connected. So even if you need to bend your elbows a little bit to do that, heel of the hands connected as opposed to just the fingertips crossing, right? Really draw those together. And then over time, the arms might get a little bit straighter. Good. If you're sitting down onto your heels, now release the hold of the hands as we inhale to reach those arms all the way up. Exhale to come back down, sinking the hips down if that's possible for you. Inhale, sweeping all the way up. Exhale down. 2 more times here, matching movement with breath. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to bring that down. Inhale, rising up. Exhale to come down and then shifting the weight forward, returning back to our tabletop. Stacking up the joints, shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. We'll inhale to send that left arm up to the ceiling. Exhale to plant the hand down. Inhale, reaching that right arm up. Exhale down. 1 more each side here. Inhale to open. Exhale to lower. Inhale, float it up. And exhale down. Coming to thread the needle now, we'll inhale to lift that left arm up. As you exhale, reach that left arm through, float the left shoulder down, left ear down. Prop up your head if you can't get your head down onto the ground. Relax both shoulders. The hips stay high. Option to stay here, or your choice to send that right arm up towards the ceiling. Your choice to stay here or reach that right arm behind the back, coming into a half bind, reaching towards that outer left hip. If you're in that bind, inhale to send that arm back up to the ceiling. We'll all exhale to press that right palm back down to the mat, returning back to your tabletop. On your next inhale, sending right arm up. Exhale, threading the needle, floating the ear down, shoulder down. The shoulders are soft. Again, it might be different on this side, so modify as needed. Next step, if you like, reach that left arm up as you inhale. And if you like, exhale to reach into that half bind, left fingertips reaching towards that outer right hip. 1 more full deep breath here. Your inhale sends that left arm back up. Exhale to press that left palm back down, returning back to your tabletop. From here, we're going to come into these cobra ripples, I like to call them. So we're going to sink back into cobra, but you're going to keep your toes as wide as your knees and reach those arms forward. On your next inhale, we're going to shift forward. We're moving through tabletop briefly, and then we're dropping the hips down. So this is not a chaturanga. We're lowering down 1 vertebrae at a time. So you're going to start with your hips, rolling down through the ribs, and then chin comes down last. Let's come into a little baby cobra here. So just hovering those hands, tuck those elbows in. Inhale, roll the shoulders down and back. Drop the chin slightly, keep the back of the neck long, toenails stay pressing down. You can firm up the thighs a little bit, lifting the kneecaps. Your next exhale floats the hands down to the mat, shifting back, shoulders are down, moving through table, and all the way back to that child's pose variation. And we go again, inhaling to rock forward. And then as you exhale, chin lifts slightly, lower 1 vertebrae at a time, hips, ribs, and chin. This time, hands stay down, slide those shoulders down and back, baby cobra with hands down, tuck those elbows. Toenails stay down. On your next exhale, moving all the way back, child's pose variation. We'll go 2 more here. Inhale to come forward. Exhale, lowering bottom to the top. Inhale, lifting up maybe a little bit higher. Tuck those elbows in, shoulders are down, and exhale to bring that on back. 1 more, inhale, rock forward. Exhale, coming down, roll it down. Inhale, peeling up. And exhale, rocking back. Good. From here, we're coming up into our first downward facing dog. You're welcome to just take puppy dog if you like. So that's just down dog onto the knees, but we'll keep the arms straight and the head off of the mat so that it's nice and active. Otherwise, if you're ready to come into your full downward facing dog, go ahead and lift on up, pedaling out the feet, I like to sway the head a little bit side to side so that the neck is nice and relaxed. And curl your toes a bit. Maybe lift and lower your heels. Might get some crick cracks in the feet happening here. Keep spreading the fingertips wide, pressing down into the first knuckle of the hands. And then take a moment to bring the gaze back towards your toes. So we want our toes to be reaching straight forward and our heels are reaching straight back. At least space of a hand between your feet. You can go a little bit wider if you need to, but there is space there. The ears are between the biceps, so if you sway your head side to side, you can feel that. And it's morning, right? So you might be tight. I know I'm definitely feeling a little bit stiff this morning. So you can always just keep a bend into the knees. Let's take one more full deep breath here. Exhale completely. Good, the next time you're ready to inhale, rock forward to your plank. And so this time we're going to float the knees down to the ground, just starting in a modified plank. Shoulders are back, draw the belly in tight, lift the front of the throat. Inhaling here. And now as we exhale, we'll lower in chaturanga, so we're not lowering down in a back bend. Imagine the body's a plank of wood. Tuck those elbows in towards the ribs. And if you get to the place that you can't feel like you can go anymore, speed it up. Press the tops of the feet down to the mat. Bring the fingertips off the mat out to the side. Elbows lift up. Inhale to peel yourself up. Exhale to lower down. Two more. Inhale, peeling up. Exhale down. Toenails stay down. Little kind of a lizard cobra here. Slide those hands underneath the shoulders. Move back through tabletop and return back to your downward facing dog. As you inhale, come forward to your high plank. Unfurl, stack your shoulders over your wrists. Float your knees down. Lift the front of the throat. Backs of the shoulder blades are wide. Belly is tight. Inhale here one more time. Exhale to tuck those elbows in. Stay like a plank of wood. If you're feeling like you're going to arch, speed it up. Lower down quicker. Press the tops of the feet down. Tuck those elbows in. Roll the shoulders down and back. Toenails stay down. Moving back through table and then coming back to your child's pose. Walk the hands underneath the shoulders, rolling yourself all the way up. Knees and feet are together. And then curl your toes under. We're going to come on up to those balls of the feet. The knees are lifting. Roll the shoulders down. Draw the belly in tight. Find your balance. Inhaling to reach those arms forward. Holding here. If you need to keep one hand down on the ground, that's okay. And then we'll bring hands through heart center. One more full deep breath in. As you exhale, press all the way up. Keep those heels lifted. All the way up. Hold, hold, hold. Good. Inhale, reach those arms up. And exhale, float the feet down. Nice, good. Shake it out a little bit. Grab a sip of water if you need. And then we're going to come on up to the top of the mat. So starting to make our way into our full Surya Namaskar A, sun salutation. So I've got at least space of a hand between my feet, space of a fist. Palms can face in towards the thighs or turn your palms forward. Roll the shoulders down and back. Planting the feet down. And then just take a moment to see what you're looking at, right? What are you facing right now in your room? Are you looking out a window? Are you looking at a wall? Are you looking at some other people in the house, a pet? Just taking a moment to see what you see here. Take that in. Take one more full deep breath. Shoulders are soft. And then the next time you're ready to inhale, we'll float those arms all the way up. As you exhale, shifting the weight down, float those knees down. You can bend your knees. Rock the head gently side to side. Good. Coming into our halfway lift here. Let's keep a nice bend into the knees for this first one. You can bring your hands to the tops of the shins and then just come into a flat back. So really rolling those shoulders down and back. And oftentimes we think our back is flat, but it isn't. We tend to be rounded here. So here you might even choose to think back bend to come into that flat place in the upper back, right? Don't worry so much about the lower back. That's fine. Don't think of back bending there. Think of back bending and opening in the upper thoracic spine. And then that should bring you into a place that's straight. Drop the chin slightly, gazing down towards the ground. And then exhale, forward fold. Plant those hands, step back to high plank. You can choose to go back to knees down or staying here in your full plank. For one more full deep breath. And then we'll float the knees down, exhale to lower chaturanga, tuck those elbows in. Tops of the toes press, inhale, peeling up, Bhujangasana, Cobra. Tuck those elbows, shoulders are down. Move back through your tabletop. Downward facing dog, look back at your toes. Toes reach straight forward, heels reach straight back. Bend your knees as you inhale, look forward in between your hands. Keep the back nice and straight. It's like you're gonna spring forward. And then exhale, forward fold. Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Ardha Uttanasana, maybe still keeping a little bend here in those knees, that's fine. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale, float those arms all the way up. Hands through heart center. We'll go through another round a little quicker. Inhale to lift. Exhale, swan dive forward, hands out. Inhale, shift the weight to the balls of the feet, flat back. Exhale to float it down. Step or jump back, high plank, inhale. Knees down or keep them up this time as you rock forward. Exhale, chaturanga. Press the tops of the toes down. Inhaling cobra. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Look back at those toes. Toes forward, heels back. Inhale, bend the knees, look forward between those hands. Exhale, step or hop forward. Rocking to the balls of the feet, halfway lift. Maybe the hands are getting lower. Maybe fingertips are to the ground, but instead of bringing your fingers forward, see if you can keep your fingers in line with the pinky toes. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale, reach it all the way up. Hands to heart center. Tadasana. Take a moment, ground down. We're going to go through another round. Grab a sip of water or take a rest anytime you need. On your next inhale, floating yourself all the way up. Maybe lift the gaze. Exhale, forward fold. So working towards a place of getting flat palms down on the ground, fingertips in line with the toes, hands to the outsides of the feet, look back through the legs. Inhale, halfway lift, rocking to the balls of the feet. Exhale, forward fold, plant those hands, step or jump back, high plank. Inhale here. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhaling cobra, or maybe upward facing dog now, lifting knees and thighs. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Look back at your toes. Inhale, look forward between those hands. Exhale, step or hop forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, standing all the way up. And hands through heart center. Good. We're going to move into our Surya Namaskar B. I like to come into Utkatasana with knees and feet all the way together, but you can choose to keep some space, or if you've got a block, you can always squeeze a block to the inner knees. Let's start hands to heart center. Inhale to reach those arms all the way up. Keep them up. Exhale, shifting the weight into the heels. Draw the belly in tight. You might even lift up your toes, flare the toes. If it's too much for your shoulders, just bring your hands to your hips. See if you can sit a little deeper. On your next inhale, press into those heels, rise up. Exhale, forward fold, space of the hand between those feet. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Step or jump back, high plank, inhale. Exhale, lower chaturanga, knees up or down. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Inhale to send your right leg up to the ceiling. Exhale, step your foot forward in between your hands. If it doesn't make it there, use your right hand to move it forward. Step that left foot on a 45-degree angle. Get light on your fingertips, floating up. Draw your right hip back, left hip forward. Pressing that outer left foot down to the ground. Keep your hands on your hips for a moment. Virabhadrasana 1, warrior 1. Lengthening out behind that back left knee. Keep squaring the navel forward. Maybe inhale to rise those arms up. One more full deep breath in. And then exhale, forward fold. Bring your hands down. Inhale to step back, high plank. Exhale, chaturanga, knees up or down. Keep your toes down. Inhale, lifting up, cobra or upward facing dog. Lifting knees and thighs. Exhale back, downward facing. Pause and take a breath. Inhale, sending that left leg all the way up. Exhale, step your foot forward in between your hands. Rise up, Virabhadrasana 1. Right toes on a 45-degree angle. Hands to the hips to start. Square yourself off. Left hip back. Right hip forward. Shoulders are soft. Maybe inhale to lift. One more full deep breath. Good, plant your hands down. Step back, high plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. And back, downward facing dog. Bend your knees as you inhale. Exhale, step or hop forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up. And exhale back to your chair pose. Feet together or apart. Good. Bring your hands to heart center. Bring your feet together. And then we'll bring the right hand to the sacrum, to the low back. As you inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale to twist over to the right. And then you can bring that left hand to the outer right knee. Take a moment to check out your knees. You want to make sure that the knees are not popping forward. And rotate. This hand on the back, just giving you some feedback if you're twisting. Good. Inhale back through center, lengthen. Exhale, left hand to the sacrum, right hand to that outer left knee, lengthen your spine, and exhale to twist. Inhale, hands to heart center. Exhale, standing up. Separate your feet, sitting bone distance. Inhale to rise. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale to fold. Step or jump back, high plank, inhale. Knees up or down, chaturanga, or you can just skip it and go right to downward facing dog. Totally fine. The next time you're ready to inhale, we'll all meet in downward facing dog. We'll lift that right leg up. And then exhale, step that foot forward in between the hands. Good. From here, we're going to start to turn towards the right. So you're going to now toe heel that right foot towards the middle of your mat on the long edge, and then roll to the pinky toe edge of your left foot. Press the hips up. Little side plank variation. Reach that right arm up. Planting that hand down, stepping that right leg back, and then bring your right hand underneath the face. Drop your hips towards the right. So now I'm on the outer edge of my right foot. Send that left arm up. maybe gazing up. Stagger or stack your feet. Lift those hips up. One more breath. Plant that hand down. Knees up or down. Exhale, lower chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. You can always rest in child's pose. And then we'll inhale to lift that left leg up. Exhale, step your foot forward in between your hands. From here, we're going to start to toe heel that left foot towards the long edge of the mat in the middle. Roll to the pinky toe edge of your right foot. Lift your hips up. Lift your left arm up. Engage the core. Planting that hand down, step back to your full plank. Left hand underneath the face, drop into the outer left edge of your foot. Reach the hips, lift the arm. Maybe lift the gaze. Good. Coming back to your plank, optional vinyasa, or go right to downward facing dog. We'll all meet in down dog. And then we'll inhale to send that right leg on up. Exhale, step your foot forward in between your hands, floating that left knee down. And then starting to inchworm those right toes forward, flexing through your right foot. It's coming to Ardha Hanumanasana. We'll half split. Nice place to bring the hands to blocks. You can go up onto your fists if you like. Good. One more breath. And then we'll shift the weight forward. Now this might be a nice place to use blocks if you've got them. So grab those if you do. If you don't, then good luck to you. It's fine, you can just use your hands, it's not a problem. It just makes it a little more challenging. So you're gonna lift up that back left knee and we're coming into a standing split. So you're gonna shift the weight forward, walk your hands forward. If you've got your blocks, go ahead and use those. And then look back at your left foot. We're gonna flex our foot so that the toes are reaching down to the floor and the kneecap reaches down to the floor. So higher hands might be a little bit easier. Right, we did this last week on the wall for those of you that did the wall class with me. Maybe reaching one hand back towards that front ankle. Maybe reach the other hand backs. Ooh, see what happens. Good. And then from here, we're gonna bend into that front right knee, floating that left foot back. Get light on your fingertips. Inhale, rise up. High crescent lunge. Bring your hands to your hips, stepping that back foot in so that you're back in a warrior one foot, so on a 45-degree angle. Keep your hands on your hips and then straighten out into that right leg. Square yourself up. Right hip back, left hip forward. Inhale to lift up a little bit more, and then exhale to start to hinge forward from your hips. So you can stay here with your hands on your hips, or maybe you can bring your hands down towards the floor. I, again, really like blocks here because it's a way to really focus on a nice flat back. I actually usually like to go for tall blocks here. Shoulders are down. Square yourself off so you can bring your right hip back, left hip forward. Press down into the pinky toe edge of that back left foot. and then bending into that front right knee, moving any props aside, inhaling back to your plank. Optional chaturanga, or go right to downward facing dog. We'll all meet there. And then checking in with how it feels from side to side. Do you notice any difference? It's okay if you do or you don't. You're just connecting to what's going on. Good, and then we'll inhale to send that left leg on up. Exhale, step your foot forward in between your hands, floating that right knee down. Start to inchworm those left toes forward, and then shifting the weight back, coming into your half split, flexing through that front left foot. Shoulders are down. One more full deep breath here. And then we're coming into our standing split. So bending into that front left knee, lift up that right knee, walk your hands forward on blocks or not, and then springing forward. Look back at that right foot, turn your kneecap down, turn your toes down, firming up that left thigh, draw your kneecap up. Looking down towards that left ankle, or even past your leg behind you. Maybe holding on with one hand, maybe holding on with both. It might be very different on this side. Good. Floating those hands down, float that right foot back, get light on your fingertips, and inhale, rise up. High crescent lunge. As you exhale, bring your hands towards your hips, and then stepping that right foot in. The toes are on a 45-degree angle, squaring off the hips. Inhale to lengthen out that left leg. Draw that left hip back, right hip forward. And then as you exhale, hinging forward with a flat back. This is a great place to stand. I'll invite you to stay here if you can't get your hands on the floor, if you don't have blocks, just because that's going to be better than probably just hanging your hands or rounding your spine. We're trying not to round the spine. Otherwise, if you can get your hands to the floor with a flat back, or use your blocks to support yourself. Left hip back, right hip forward. One more full deep breath here. Good, and then we're going to bend into that front knee, moving all of those props aside. Plant your hands down, step back, last vinyasa. You can skip it or take it. Any version that works for you. Good, and then bend your knees, look forward between those hands, step or hop forward. Nice, forward fold. And then we're going to keep a nice deep bend into the knees, coming into a flat back. Bring your hands up to your hips. Press into those heels, exhale, standing all the way up. Good, all right. So we're gonna come into tree pose, and feel free to hold a wall or something if you need a little support. I'll turn to face you. Bring your hands to your hips. We're gonna lift up that right heel, and then kind of like you're digging your toe in sand, you're just gonna open and close your knee. Like you're digging your toe in sand, and you're keeping your hips perfectly still. Imagine you have a belt on, and the belt buckle is pointing straight forward, not twisting. And then the next time you open your knee, pause there. This is great with just keeping the foot down. Maybe you lift your foot up a little bit higher. You can stay here. Maybe you lift it up towards the inner thigh. And then resting the hands where it's right for you. So pressing foot to leg, leg to foot. You can reach those arms up if you like. Bringing the inner wrists towards each other. Shoulders are down. The neck is soft, the jaw is relaxed. Opening up the knees, square off the hips, feeling the rootedness of your feet. And then bringing your hands through heart center, we're going to lift that knee up, and then we're going to start to kick back into warrior three, Virabhadrasana 3. So it's like our standing split, but now we keep our hands off of the blocks, off of the floor. You can stay here. It's actually a little bit easier if you bring your hands back. If you want to make it harder, reach out, or maybe reach forward. So we're really working in a place that we're trying to be everything parallel to the floor. Leg, torso, arms. Good, and then slowly come on out, shake it out. Grab a sip of water if you need. We don't have music today, we have my cat meowing in the background. All right, so we're gonna bring our hands to our hips and we'll do the other side. Lift that left heel up, and then we are digging our foot in imaginary sand. So imagine yourself at the beach right now. How nice would that be, right? It's gonna make it so fantastic when we'll be able to go to beaches again, right? So opening up that knee, staying there. That imaginary belt buckle points forward. This is already true, you can stay here, this is great. And better to be in a place that's lower and balanced than, being so fixated on bringing the foot up high and every 2 seconds you're falling out, right? Bring it down a little lower and just stay there. It's different every time. And sometimes, it's like a slippery fabric that you're wearing and the foot just doesn't want to stay up. Engage that outer glute of that supporting leg. And then this time we'll reach the arms up. We'll hook the thumbs and turn the palms forward. Nice. Inhale to bring the hands through heart center, lifting that knee up. Exhale to start to kick it back, coming into your Virabhadrasana 3. Keeping it lifted. This is a nice prop. Look, you can use a couch. Although remember, technically, Virabhadrasana 3, we're not holding anything. Ooh, see what it's like on this side. Might be a little harder. Good. And slowly release. Shake it on out. Nice. Okay, so we're gonna just bring ourselves down. Nothing fancy. And we're going to come into 90-90. So maybe I'll turn to face towards you guys. So you're gonna have your feet nice and wide, and then you're going to flex your feet, and one leg is bent 90 degrees, the other leg is bent 90 degrees. So 90-90, peace pose, Svatisthasana. And if you can, really grounding that bottom hip down towards the floor. Right, so working half internal rotation, half external rotation. Try not to have that foot so close towards the glute, but it's really open, so you've got that nice 90 degree. And usually in this, where people tend to feel it is in that internally rotated, somewhere in the hip area, right? If you're tight in TFL area, it's gonna get into that. This is a nice one for that. Some people like to stay upright. Some people like to lean back. So you can just explore a little bit and see where you might be feeling it most today. Nice, full, slow, deep breaths. And then we'll come into a little rotation here. So we'll inhale and then exhale to rotate towards that externally rotated leg. And then maybe you even come down, so you can take your hand to the outside of your knee. Inhaling here. And exhale, maybe you come down onto your elbows, which probably takes some of the stretch out of that internally rotated hip, but here it's more about the rotation. Good, and then pressing yourself back up, coming back through center, little counter twist, and then we'll come back through center. So from here, before we do the other side, we're just going to bring both legs out straight. You can shake them out a little bit. And then just gently walking forward a bit here. And then see if you feel anything different from right to left side. Relax your shoulders, relax your jaw. And then walking the hands close towards you, and we'll come into 90-90 on the other side. So right leg is now turning out, and then that left leg is going to turn in. And then make sure you have that 90-degree right angle of both legs. See what it's like on this side. All right, you can stay upright, you can lean back. Just explore where it's best for you today on this side. And then feeling that length in the spine, nice big inhale. As you exhale, rotating towards that right leg. Stay here if that's enough for you. To go deeper, you bring that left hand to the outside of the knee. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to maybe lower down. You can prop yourself up if you need to. Listen to yourself if you need to ease out of it a bit. Good, and then coming all the way back up as you inhale. Exhale, little counter twist the other side. And then again, we're going to open up the legs. Maybe you can go a bit further this time. Inhale to reach those arms out. A little bit of lateral movement here. We're going to rest that right forearm onto the top of that right thigh and then reach that left arm overhead. So those of you that are really flexible, if you want to go deeper, you're going to take that right forearm down to the ground on the inside of that right leg. And then not trying to round forward here. Don't worry so much about your foot right now. Instead, just thinking of really opening up left ribs towards the ceiling. And then maybe eventually you find, where are you, foot? Maybe you find your foot. Inhaling to come all the way back up. And then resting that left forearm down onto the left thigh. Exhale to reach that right arm overhead. Spiraling the ribs up towards the ceiling. Allow the reach for the toe just to be natural. I like to do a toe lock, but then I turn my hand wrist facing forward here to really keep this openness. Keep spiraling right ribs open, and then on your next inhale, lifting all the way up. Good. Exhale, bring it down. Bring those legs forward, shake them out a little bit. And then we're going to come just into Dandasana, so flexing through the feet. Now, if your hamstrings are still really tight, if you're rounding back, right, that's your body's way of telling you, my hamstrings are tight. So you're going to prop yourself up onto some cushions or bolster or blocks if you have them. Roll those shoulders down and back. We'll inhale to reach those arms all the way up, and then exhale, hinging forward with a flat back. So really keeping that nice length as we hinge forward. Opening up the pinky toe edges of your feet. Keep the ears between the biceps. And then floating the fingertips down towards the outsides of the legs. Keep the length in your spine, no rounding here. For one more full deep breath. And then the next time you exhale, bringing the belly towards the thighs. So hands can be to the outer legs. You can hold your shins. You can hold your feet. If you can hold your feet and you have a block, a way to, right, blocks are great because you can make things easier or harder. So a way to make it harder is to bring 1 or 2 blocks to the bottoms of your feet and then holding on to that will give you deeper stretch. Thinking, bringing the nose towards the toes. Shoulders are down. Good. And then releasing the hold of that block if you've got it. Bring yourself up. We'll plant the feet down onto the ground, rolling down through the spine. And coming down. Nice. And then you might choose to bring your feet nice and wide into the mat and then coming into that supine 90-90 now. Bringing a nice twist into the knees, one direction. Maybe look towards that other elbow. Inhaling here, exhale over to the other side. And then coming back through center. So your choice for inversion, a choice one might just be a happy baby, or even hugging your knees to the chest, right? Inversion is just really about lifting the feet higher than the heart. So you can just hug your knees to your chest. You can do happy baby. If shoulders stand or headstand is part of your practice, you can do that now. And we're just gonna take as much time as we need to come into whichever inversion. And then whenever you're ready, you can make your way into Shavasana and or meditation, maybe some pranayama work. Right, so if you want a simple pranayama whenever you're ready today, you can just count the length of your inhales and exhales and just see if you can work with the same amount of time for your inhale and your exhale. But I want to give you guys an opportunity to do your inversions for as long as you feel you like. And then when you're ready, tune in and see what do I want to try next? Do I want to do some pranayama? Right? Okay, if you do, then you can choose however long you're inhaling, just count that. And then see if you can get your exhale to match. So nice even inhale and exhale, matching yin and yang, sun and moon, masculine, feminine in our bodies. Right, it shifts and changes all the time, so this is just a moment of just bringing that into perhaps a little bit of balance if you're open to it. And if not, that's totally okay. So I want to thank you guys so deeply for joining me in practice. Please rest in Shavasana or meditation for as long as it feels right for you. And as you're resting, as I like to say often in my yoga classes, I would often come around and offer some Reiki for those who are seeking it. And I would say, rest your hands on your belly if you want to receive some Reiki. So if you want to receive some Reiki, as you are in your Shavasana, you can rest your hands on your belly. And distance Reiki being sent to you if you are seeking that. Peaceful blessings to you all. Thank you deeply for sharing this practice with me. The light in me bows to the light in each and every one of you. Namaste.